Hi, everyone. Welcome to Lazy Hype, where we talk all things wellness. Today, I have a fun, creative, former athlete, one of my favorite new clients, and entrepreneur, Brandon Chubb. Brandon, thank you so much for being here.
I'm excited to be here.
I know you're a very busy person.
Yeah, we have the life of the entrepreneur, but I think I mean you get it, right? The grind and the in and out of meetings and fixing things and putting out fires, but glad to be here and I'm excited.
And no, really appreciate you. I know, like I said, you're insanely busy. So I'd love to just get started. First of all, I think it's very interesting that this is the first time I'm actually seeing you. We've been talking for some time now. And yeah, I like always crack these jokes. I was like, I think we're Brandon's like designers because we're he'll shoot me a text and right away, like we'll get on it. But I hadn't actually seen you. So it's great to see you. Hopefully in person soon.
Yeah, it was funny that you said that because when I first got on here, I was thinking, that's the voice I always hear and always work with, but to be able to now put a face to it has been pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm excited to just hear your story. So I'd like to get started with that. Where did you grow up? What led you to Do Not Disturb? Um, yeah. And tell us also what Do Not Disturb is about.
Yeah, to start from Atlanta. Lived there my whole life, essentially outside of um, college and NFL. NFL, I played in three different cities: Charlotte, Detroit, and LA, and went to school in North Carolina. But how we start Do Not Disturb, I think going back to that experience of being outside of the state was for football at Wake Forest and then NFL football in those three cities. And in all those places, I had a facility where I did my work, where I did body maintenance, where I did preparation to be able to play and perform at a high level. And in all those places, right outside our locker room, which is like our chapel, right? It's our sanctuary. We have a sauna, we had a cold plunge, we had a training room, we had the massage table, we had the chiropractor, we had the nurse practitioner. And then in 2019, I retire. I become a busy professional and traveling a lot for work and things like that with the NFL Players Association. And one of my stops is New York. And in New York, this is around 2021. There was just this and excitement about wellness, right? I don't really know how to explain it, but it was the energy. I was talking to someone earlier this morning that is from New York, and I'm currently in Chicago doing this podcast, and I think Chicago is, a top city in the country. And she was like, "No, New York is," and I was like, "I love New York. I love the energy. I love how New York, in my mind, is a playground." And the reason I say that is because I had the boutique fitness experience for the first time in New York. Then in 2021, I'm starting to have these wellness recovery studio experiences in New York. One of the gyms I was training at, S10, it's in Chelsea. Uh, he started building this private recovery room ancillary to his gym. And I was following him on Instagram because we worked out and he trained me a couple of times. And so I watched him from conception to finish, build out these recovery suites and do it at a high level, right? It felt like you were at a spa, but at the same time, the spa had everything I had at the NFL facilities. And right outside of it was a gym and this, like, if you know, type of storefront in Chelsea right next to an Equinox, right? And so my point being, like, I saw this happening, and then I would go visit once I saw it open. I would go visit every time I'm in New York. And about the third time, this is like 2023, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm tired of just coming and experiencing this in New York. Like, I got to bring this to Atlanta. And this is really how D&D got started. I was in the sauna at his facility called S10 Recovery. And I was like, let me not wait for fate or let me not wait for it to just fall in my lap. Let me go out and at least try to get the ball rolling. And maybe it's a snowball that as it gets closer and closer down the mountain, it gets bigger and bigger. And then, next thing you know, I'll have a facility. And so the first step in that was, could I find a real estate agent or a broker to like get me some nice real estate space in Atlanta? Check box. Well, now I have three desirable places in Atlanta I would like this to be at: Ponce City Market in Old 44 Park, uh, Avalon in Alpharetta, or like Buckhead Village in Buckhead. And then I got an LOI at Ponce City Market. So I was like, another check. And then I was like, all right, cool. It's going to cost this amount of money. Can I raise the funding for it? And secured the equity financing for that. So that was another check. And it was like, well, this is meant to be, right? Like, let me make sure I got my ducks in a row, cross every T, dot every I, but also put my finger on it, right? And so what I like about Do Not Disturb is that one, it's my vision came to life. It's not a franchise where I took someone else's vision and then run their playbook and play by their rules and play by their creativity or lack thereof. It allows me to, one, call it Do Not Disturb. What does that mean? Again, I was a busy professional traveling all over for work for NFL players, for the NFL Players Association, which is the labor union for the NFL. And what that means is I'm always on call, right? These guys get done at 5 p.m. So they don't start communicating with you until post 5 p.m. So it's not a normal 9 to 5, because 9 to 5, they're doing their job, which is practicing, working out, in meetings, might be playing a game, right? If it's a Sunday or a Monday. And so I never could really put my phone literally on do not disturb. It's a great setting. It's a way to block out the world, but I couldn't do that without coming back to miss texts or to miss emails. It was very irresponsible, at least for the career I had, to do that. And so the name Do Not Disturb came from that thought of like,
From like the authentic feeling.
yeah, how could I build this physically? How could I build this mentally? When you step in our double doors at Ponce City Market, your mind shuts off. Your body has 30 minutes, an hour, maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, depending on how many services you do while you're there, to be on Do Not Disturb. And as soon as you walk back out, you're back into the real world. You're back hustling, bustling in Ponce City Market inside downtown Atlanta. And you're back to wherever you're at, right? And so that's Do Not Disturb. The name came from that. And then also like the way we built it and designed it. That 2023, the sauna epiphany was in February of 2023. The January of 2023, I just applied to business school, not knowing if I was going to get in or not, because the decision didn't come out till March 2023. And let's call it March. I got into Kellogg, into Emory, the two schools I applied to, and I was like, well, I'm not going to throw that away because I have this business plan. Let me see how I can make this an opportunity. Right now, I can workshop my business plan through business school with high creative and high skilled individuals to kind of whiteboard and bounce ideas off of. But then also right before business school, I went to this place called Forestas in the Dolomites. And it was a vacation, kind of just like a break before I get back into the hustle and bustle of going through business school and the hustle and bustle of trying to create D&D. And it was like a week reset, really, because it was just this wellness resort. And if you Google Forestas, forest with an IS at the end, you'll see what I mean. But it's like nestled in the Dolomite Mountains. It's everything wellness, right? You go to the amenities, they have an indoor outdoor pool that looks out to the mountains. They have 3 saunas at 3 different temperatures with 3 different specialties. They have a cold plunge or a cold immersion tub in the middle of all this. They have a relax room that has like 10 or 12 individual, like queen size cots that you can't see anything around you but your cot, because of the way the light and the spotlight is kind of just on that one specific cot. And it was very inspirational for me because of the timing of it, and what was already like tailwinds with the do not disturb, checking those boxes that I alluded to earlier, where I had a lot of creative inspiration from that trip. I remember even talking to my wife, like, there's like this unwritten rule at Forestas, like you just don't talk. Like you're in this pool area with like 10 other people and no one's talking. Everyone's just relaxing. They're just mentally restoring. I go in the sauna and might be one other person in there with me. Like we don't have a conversation, we make eye contact, and we're like if you know type stuff, right? And it was like one of those things, even the relax room. I would go in there and take a nap after I did the sauna cold plunge contrast for like an hour. I would go in the relax room and just take a nap for like an hour and a half every day in the middle of the day, without my phone, without any distractions, just with nature and just like with my mind. And I wanted that same feeling because I felt like the architecture and the aesthetic really lended itself to having that intrinsic feeling that like, hey, we ain't in here on FaceTime. We ain't in here watching Instagram reels, right? Like you're in here just chilling, getting right mentally and just restoring. And so I built D&D with that in mind, so that like we don't have signs at the door saying turn your phone off, or we don't have signs at the door saying don't play music in the rooms. But that architecture and the tranquil oasis we created intrinsically makes you feel like, yo, I just need to vibe out in here. I just need to put my body and mind on do not disturb. And so that's how do not disturb came to fruition, and kind of the context and backstory behind it and the meaning behind the name, but also like what we try to convey when you walk through those double doors. Again, we're in the Chelsea market equivalent of Atlanta. The same developer, same historic type of shopping retail place, boutique shops that are tenants. We're that, but in Atlanta. And so you can imagine it's a tourist trap. It's parking's insane. It's um, a lot of hustle and bustle, foot traffic, and you come and do not disturb, and it just kind of gets quiet, right? It kind of just mentally just has that like noise canceling headphone kind of woof to it, and then just being able to build that for people who want that but can't go to Forestas, or who want that but have two kids and drop them off and pick them up from school, but can take a break throughout their day, or who want that, but they work at McKinsey right behind us or BlackRock in the same building and are working 12 hours, but they need to step away, right? And so that was kind of the ethos and really the reason why we're here today.